In this workshop, we shall be looking at the muscles upon which healthy, optimal breathing depend. Core stability refers to the strength of the muscles surrounding your stomach and the manner in which they interact with those of your trunk and lower extremities. Core stability is the essential starting point for all the exercises that follow in this program, allowing you to free up your breathing by safely stretching and strengthening the areas around your stomach. Core stability is also the key to balance, since our center of gravity is located directly behind the navel, opposite the third or fourth lumbar vertebra, and it is this point from which most of our movements are initiated. These include even mundane actions such as standing up from a seated position, getting out of bed, reaching beyond one's arm length, walking or running. One way of understanding the importance of core stability is to think of your body as a multi-linked chain comprising the feet, ankles, legs, knees, hips, arms, trunk, shoulders, wrists, hands. Delivering power through this chain, such as when you stoop to pick up a load, requires that each link is strong, especially at the trunk, the connecting point for our lower and upper body. Even one weak link in this chain means that the performance of the whole system is impaired, with power and efficiency being sacrificed. This is especially true when that weakest link is located, as it so often is, at the central connecting point. Using the incorrect muscles when transferring force from your arms and legs through your pelvic girdle to your spine, or when appropriate muscles are relatively weak, means your body will seek a way to compensate for the subsequent imbalance. This is usually achieved by using other muscles, some of which will be ill-suited to the demands of that particular movement. And again, this leads to a sacrifice of power and efficiency, combined with greater risk of such injuries as shoulder tendinitis and low back pain. By improving your core stability, you will help safeguard your spine, or if you're already suffering from a certain amount of low back pain, reduce or eliminate the current discomfort. In addition, and most importantly for this BOTAO program, core stability is essential for smooth, easy and efficient breathing. A strong yet flexible core set of muscles at the core of your body will help to ensure that the diaphragm can move powerfully and freely when drawing air into the lungs and then expelling it again. The reason why core stability yields such a wonderful range of benefits are easily appreciated if you consider the two different postures that result first from a weak and then from a strong girdle of muscles around our middle. In the first case, the individual is likely to be slumped somewhat forward, especially if their abdominal muscles are significantly stronger than those in their back. Surprisingly, this is often found among bodybuilders whose six-pack stomachs, while admired by some women and envied by some men, result in impaired breathing. Someone who has developed strong yet flexible muscles at their core and is at the correct weight for their height is far more likely to have an upright posture, and one that allows the air to flow smoothly into their lungs and to be able to use their powerful diaphragm to the full. It is equally important, however, to develop flexibility as well as strength, since flexible muscles are better able to lengthen and stretch in order to meet the demands placed on them. By developing greater core stability, therefore, you will be able to breathe far more efficiently and effectively, reduce your risk of injury, especially to your lower back, use all your muscles more efficiently, improve your balance, and enhance your posture. When performing the exercises you will hear described in a moment, please pay great attention to your technique, since the quality of any exercise is of far greater importance than the quantity. Rather than pushing yourself to complete a certain number of repetitions, focus instead on performing each exercise in as slow and as a controlled manner as possible. By doing so, you will ensure that only the specific muscles the particular exercise is designed to strengthen are being worked on. At the same time, a slow, focused attitude will help you achieve greater awareness of these core muscles. Before you start, however, a word of caution. While these exercises are easy to master and can be done with little effort, as is customary in any course involving physical exercise, I would ask you to seek medical advice before starting if you're in any doubt of your ability to undertake them safely and happily. This is likely to apply especially if you are overweight, pregnant, have high blood pressure or a heart condition, suffer from spinal problems such as severe low back pain, have recently had surgery, especially to your stomach or back. Should you be in any doubt about the suitability of these exercises, then please seek medical advice before proceeding. Remember, when carrying out the exercises, do so slowly and carefully, concentrating on getting each action as near perfect as possible. Take special care when standing up after the exercises are completed, because you may feel slightly giddy or breathless. If this happens while you're performing any of the exercises, then stop immediately and wait until you regain your breath and or your balance. So when you're ready, let's make a start on 6 exercises that will significantly enhance your core stability.
Lie on your back with your hands behind your head, legs bent to 45 degrees. Use a cycling motion to bring your right leg to your right elbow. Return your right leg to the starting position, then repeat with the left leg, bringing the left knee to the left elbow. Repeat 8 times for each leg. If at first you find it difficult to manage 8 repetitions for each leg, then do as many as you feel comfortable with and build to 8. That concludes the first exercise. Please pause for a few moments before moving on to the next exercise. Lie on your back with your knees bent, feet 1 hip width apart and parallel, your arms resting on your lower abdomen. You may find it more comfortable to rest your head on a small, flat, firm pillow. Start by relaxing your stomach muscles so that you can take a long, slow, deep breath, and as you exhale, flatten the small of your back against the floor. Arch the small of your back during the inhalation and count slowly to 5 as you do so. As you exhale, repeat the slow count to 5 as you lower and flatten your back against the floor once again. Repeat this maneuver 6 times. Now breathe in, slightly arching the small of your back, and then as you breathe out, allow the area around and below your navel to soften and hollow out towards the spine. It may help at first to imagine that you are lying in a hammock. Hold your muscles in this hollowed position and feel how your lower spine lengthens. Breathe in again and relax the muscles. Repeat this 5 times. That concludes the second core stability exercise. Pause for a few moments before proceeding to exercise 3. Lie flat on the floor with your knees bent, feet 1 hip width apart and parallel, with your arms resting on your lower abdomen, and take in a long, slow, deep breath. As you start slowly to exhale, hollow out your lower abdominal muscles by pulling your navel back towards your spine. Feel the muscles tightening and wrapping themselves around your middle like a corset. Now gently lengthen the lower part of your spine while keeping it pressed flat against the floor. Still slowly exhaling, slide your right leg along the floor and lift your right arm above your head so as to touch the floor behind you. Enjoy the feeling as you gently stretch from your fingertips to your toes, but be sure to keep your back flat against the floor and your navel pulled in towards the spine. Inhale slowly and deeply as you return your right arm and right leg to the starting position. Repeat these movements using your left arm and leg, stretching them as before. Repeat this exercise 5 times for each side of the body, making a total of 10 repetitions. Do not over-tighten your stomach muscles. Rather try to hollow them out while keeping them loose. Your tailbone should remain flat on the floor as you gently stretch and lengthen the spine. Avoid allowing your back to arch as you stretch and lengthen your arms and legs. When pulling your navel in towards the spine, always simultaneously lengthen your spine. For an elongated spine supported by strong abdominals, these 2 actions must go hand in hand, and this is essential for good posture and good health. It is also important not to raise your bottom from the floor. Never push your spine down hard or tighten the muscles around your hips. That concludes Core Stability Exercise 3. Start in a kneeling position and keeping your spine motionless, allow your abdominal muscles to sag toward the floor. Now tighten these muscles so as to hollow your stomach muscles. Focus your attention on pulling the tummy button up and in. Hold this tension for a slow count to 5, then release. Repeat this exercise 12 times. That concludes Core Stability Exercise 4. Once again, I suggest you pause for a moment before moving to exercise number 5. For this exercise, you will need a chair, stool, or similar support. Lie on your back and use the support to raise your legs into a 90-degree bend. Your legs should be bent at both the hips and the knees. Place your hands at your sides with the palms flat on the ground. Your head and neck should be held as straight as possible as you lift the front of your chest towards the ceiling. Make certain you are bending at the hips and not the neck. Imagine yourself being drawn upward by an invisible cord. As you raise your head and shoulders off the floor, slide your hands forward. Do not attempt to lift yourself more than a few inches and make certain you are only using your stomach muscles to pull yourself up. Inhale slowly and deeply as you begin to raise yourself. Hold this position for a count to 3, then slowly lower yourself again, exhaling as you do so. Repeat this exercise 5 times. That concludes Core Stability Exercise 5. Pause for a moment before moving to the final set of exercises. For the final exercise, we return to those vital muscles around your spine with an exercise that will help strengthen them even further. Lie face down with your arms stretched out straight in front of you, palms flat on the floor. Inhale slowly, and as you begin doing so, start walking your hands backwards towards you. At the same time, arch your spine slowly upwards until you can feel a gentle stretch in the lower back. Exhale slowly while holding this position for 5 seconds. Repeat this exercise 12 times. You can, if you wish, increase the number of repetitions for each exercise, provided of course that you never allow your technique to suffer as a result.
That concludes the 6 exercises that will help you develop and maintain the core stability on which optimal breath control depends. In workshop 3, you will learn how deep body breathing holds the key to enjoying a healthier and less stressful lifestyle. Welcome to workshop 3. in which you'll learn all about deep body breathing, the most effective and efficient way of taking and expelling the air on which life depends. As this workshop involves some practical work, I would like you to wear loose-fitting clothes and to remove your shoes. A tracksuit is ideal, but any form of clothing that ensures you can move freely and easily will work equally well. We'll start with a simple experiment. I'd like you to stand up and take and then release a deep breath. How do you get on? If you breathe like the vast majority of people, you will probably have observed some or all of the following. It will have required a deliberate effort to take this breath, and once completed, you will quickly return to a more normal pattern of breath. You will have pulled your stomach strongly inwards while simultaneously thrusting your chest and spine forward. The air will have been drawn into your body via a long, hard sniff that causes your nostrils to draw together instead of remaining relaxed and flared. Your shoulders will have risen and fallen vertically rather than moving laterally in and out. Not too sure what happened in your case? Then, without making any changes to the way you inhale, repeat the exercise and notice how many of those points holds true. If they do, then, again like a majority of people, your breathing is what I term upside down. But don't let that alarm you. The fact is that 7 out of 10 of us spend most, if not all, our adult lives using this type of inverted breathing. To understand exactly what upside down breathing involves, let's perform a simple experiment again. Here's how to go about it. Find a firm but giving surface, such as a carpeted floor or a thick towel, on which you can lie down comfortably. Place one hand on your chest near the top of your breastbone and the other on your stomach slightly above the navel. Without changing your normal pattern of breathing in any way, notice which hand rises the most when you're breathing. Does one hand rise before the other, or do both seem to rise and fall together? Do you feel the greatest movement in your hand on the chest or in the hand on the stomach? If your lower stomach hand moves more than your upper chest hand, then you are using deep body breathing, which is also known as abdominal or diaphragmatic breathing. If, as typically happens, your upper hand moves most, then you are using what I have termed upside down breathing or costal breathing. Now, how do you get on? If you found that you are already using deep body breathing, that's very good news. The procedures taught in the remainder of this home training program will help you strengthen that healthy pattern of breathing while enhancing your understanding of the breath-mind relationship. If, however, you discover that your chest rose more than your stomach, then you are breathing, as I said before, upside down. Now, there's absolutely no need to worry about this. But to understand what's happening, let's take a few moments to explore the mechanisms by which we breathe. So sit or lie down with your arms resting by your sides and your feet about shoulder width apart. You might feel more comfortable if you were to support your neck and head on a pillow. Now start by becoming aware of your rib cage. Bring your hands up so that you can feel your collarbones or clavicles. Run your fingers along these bones to the point where they attach to your breastbone or sternum. Now gently explore the area around the junction of the collarbones and the sternum. The bone you can feel directly beneath the collarbone is your second rib. The first is tucked away underneath the collarbone. Trace your fingers along this rib, starting at the shoulders and moving inward toward the sternum, noting how it becomes increasingly prominent towards the point where it attaches to your sternum. Notice too how firm and unyielding this attachment feels. Placing your fingers on the point at which the second rib attaches to your sternum, inhale deeply and note the slight movement. This shows that although a robust and solid protective structure, your rib cage still has considerable flexibility. Take several more deep breaths and become aware of the way in which the rib cage expands, with each inhalation and then falls back again as you exhale. Slowly run your fingers down the breastbone and notice the way each of your ribs is attached to it. As your fingers move down your chest, you will notice that the ribs become closer and closer together. At the far end of the breastbone, you'll be able to feel a small prominence called the xiphoid process. This may well be very sensitive to the touch because it's attached to the diaphragm. Follow the outer boundaries of your rib cage with your fingers, noting how the lowest ribs extend right the way around your waist. Now, let's look at this in more detail on a model of the body. As you can see, the lungs themselves are divided into lobes, 3 on the right and 2 on the left, leaving space for the heart. Immediately below the lungs is a broad band of muscle which divides the body into 2 compartments, with the upper portion containing the lungs and heart, and the lower portion the digestive organs. It is this broad band of muscle that you use during deep body or diaphragmatic breathing. When you pull it downwards and outwards, you increase the capacity of the chest, causing air to be drawn inwards on each inhaled breath. Then, by relaxing the diaphragm, the air is expelled out again as you exhale. Our lungs are, of course, where oxygen is drawn into the body and carbon dioxide is expelled. The lowest lobes of our lungs have the greatest supply of blood vessels. This enables them to perform the task of exchanging the gases, oxygen in and carbon dioxide out, in the most efficient manner. This is why breathing deeply and slowly, deep body breathing, is by far and away the most effective way of exchanging gases, of taking oxygen in and getting rid of carbon dioxide. It is far more efficient than the shallow costal breathing, what I termed upside down breathing, because this involves the upper portions of the lungs which have less blood flow. Rather than performing the next set of exercises purely mechanically, try and create a mental picture of what's going on inside your body. Since deep body breathing is most easily learnt when lying down, that's how we will start. Later, when you become proficient, it will be necessary to learn ways of incorporating the same pattern of breath into your everyday life. Now, start by lying on your back with your hands at your sides. Flex your legs at the knees to approximately 45 degrees and place your feet a comfortable distance apart. Try and find a position that allows your body to feel relaxed and balanced. If at any time your legs become tired through holding them in this position, simply stretch them out for a moment or two before resuming your initial position. Now, arch the small of your back and then flatten it against the floor beneath you. It's important that this movement is smooth and flowing. Become aware of the sensations involved as you arch and flatten the small of your back. Repeat this procedure for approximately 1 minute. Inhale slowly and deeply, arching the small of your back as you do so. Exhale deeply and slowly, at the same time flattening the small of your back. Let's go through that one more time. Breathe in and fill your lungs as you arch the small of your back. Now breathe out, emptying your lungs as you flatten the small of your back against the floor. Make sure all your movements are slow and fluid. They should never involve any great movement, only an inch or so of arching and flattening the small of your back. As you inhale, repeat slowly and silently, "I know that I am breathing in," and as you exhale, say, "I know that I am breathing out." And this will help you recognize your in-breath as an in-breath and your out-breath as an out-breath. You don't even need to recite the whole sentence. You can, if you prefer, simply repeat in and out. At the same time, use the mental images you created of your breathing muscles to follow the course of the air past your nostrils. Notice how cool the incoming air feels compared to the expelled breath, and down into your lungs. Visualize the air flowing deep into the lower lobes of each lung as your diaphragm is drawn smoothly downwards and outwards, while your chest expands gently upwards and outwards. This visual imagery, combined with the simple verbal instructions, will make it far easier for you to keep your mind focused on breathing. By practicing for between 2 and 5 minutes a day, you should rapidly find that as your breathing becomes more peaceful and gentle, your whole outlook will grow calmer and become more and more relaxed. After practicing deep body breathing in this way for a week to 10 days, you're ready to transfer your newly found skills into the real world. This is of course essential if you're to rid yourself of the negative consequences of inefficient upside down breathing. If you've been an upside down breather for many years, this will have become such a habit that it will probably seem a normal and natural way to take your breaths. This means that making any substantial changes, no matter how beneficial and life-enhancing they will prove, will require commitment and persistence. Here's a simple practical way to approach this challenge. You simply write down some trigger activities on a piece of card and carry this with you. You should start by identifying some activities that will remind you to spend a few moments focusing on your breathing, identifying the way you're breathing, and, if necessary, switching from shallow upside down breathing to deep body breathing. Typical memory jogging activities might be while waiting to catch my bus to work, when I take a morning coffee break, after making a telephone call, as I sit down to lunch, when I start watching TV. Each time you reach a trigger activity, pause for a moment, notice how you're taking and releasing each breath, and, if necessary, make changes. Concentrate on slowing and deepening your breathing so as to perform deep body breathing easily and naturally. After the first week, introduce a few more additional memory joggers, triggers which will remind you to focus on your breathing and, if necessary, make changes in the way you're breathing. Continue to do so until you have developed a normal pattern of deep body breathing which continues throughout your waking day. Although for the reasons I've explained, upside down or costal breathing is inappropriate for most of our daily activities, especially when we want to feel calm and relaxed, it comes into its own during periods of exertion, since it allows gas exchange in the lungs to occur more rapidly. If you have to expend a great deal of physical effort, such as when playing a sport, running for a train, or even walking briskly, your body will correctly switch to costal breathing. In this way, the muscles and the brain receive the additional oxygen required to metabolize the fuel needed to meet rapid but short-lived increases in energy demand. Once you've established good core stability and made deep body breathing a natural and normal part of your everyday life, you will be in an excellent position to master the procedures taught in the workshops that follow. These are designed to be used in specific situations ranging from controlling stress and banishing fatigue to improving concentration and removing blocks to personal development and progress. In Workshop 4, we will be exploring the first of the techniques when I show you how to stay cool, calm and collected, even in potentially anxiety-arousing situations, by means of relaxation and sensualization. You have been watching Workshop 2 from the 8-workshop Bo Tao Home Training Program. If you would like to learn more about this program, download the entire set of workshops or purchase them on 2 DVDs and a paperback book, please go to www.askdrdavid.co.uk.